going on, everybody? Welcome back to TCG Madness, and today we have another budget deck for One Piece. Today we have Buggy, the leader from Emperors in the New World, and out of all the budget deck builds, I've only done a couple so far, but this one will be the most budget friendly to date. I have this budget deck under $20 currently at the time of this recording, I should say, which is January 31st. So again, because prices can always fluctuate and go up and down. So before we go any forward, if you guys could do me the really big favor, hit the like button. If you're new, consider hitting that subscribe button. Don't forget to also hit that notification bell so you guys never miss when I drop a video. Comment down below if you guys like this build, maybe what you would do a little bit differently. And also too, maybe what leader you would like me to do a budget deck for next. I'm just pretty much just going to go through all of the leaders in the new sets, but if there's something from previous sets for One Piece that you guys want me to do a budget deck build around, just comment down below and I'll go ahead and take a look and do a budget deck build. Because again, I think the budget decks that I do for you guys accomplish a couple of things, and I mentioned this in all the videos. They accomplish, you could build it, you don't have to break the bank, and if you like this deck and you really want to go all out, well, there's plenty of cards that you can just go into the previous history of all of the One Piece sets and, just really break the bank, break the budget, buy a bunch of really powerful cards, and then just slide them into this deck, and it'll pretty much work. This deck, though, is centered all around Buggy and his ability to synchronize with the cross guild trait. So we pretty much had that going on, and I think this deck is pretty good. Not the strongest by any means, but definitely the most budget friendly. So without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the leader first, Buggy. Again, he's from Emperors in the New World. He has an effect. You may rest 5 of your Dawn cards and trash 1 card from your hand. Play up to 1 cross guild type character from your hand. That's pretty much it. Just play a cross guild character. So we really just synchronized with that trait right there, cross guild. A couple things you have to know about this. Yes, you have to rest 5 of your Dawns, so they have to be unrested, and then you have to trash a card in your hand, so you're basically discarding a card. So one thing you want to do is you want to have a lot of cards in this deck with the cross guild, and you also want to have cards that allow you to draw, because you are, with that ability, going to lose something, and losing that 1 card, even just in this game, especially in One Piece, losing that 1 card can definitely be detrimental into winning. So let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes, the actually deck itself. We have Mr. 3 Galdino. So 1 drop on play. Look at the top. Look at 4 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 1 cross guild type card or a card with a type including the Boric works other than the Mr. Galdino. Add it to your hand, then place the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. We don't care about the rest of it. We just care about that top ability right there. Look at the top 4 cards and reveal 1 cross guild, because we have a lot of those in this deck. So definitely want 4 copies of that one. We also have 4 copies of this 1 drop Sengoku. On play, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 7 Warlords of the C type card and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck. Now I know a lot of you are saying, like, why do we have this in the deck? The 7 Warlords is definitely, you can probably see already too. We have like Dracule, Mihawk, which works. Pretty much that's what you're looking for, right? You also have Boa Hancock, which is a pretty powerful card. When it comes into just in a pinch, you're gonna want to look for the big powerful cards to try to win for the game. That's the only reason why he's in there. He's a good search engine. I may reduce this to 2 and add something else to the deck that I'll talk about a little bit later. We also have 4 copies of Richie, 2 drop blockers. Need those blockers. Blockers are very important in any deck. I usually like to have anywhere between 12 to 16 blockers per deck. I think that's a pretty good number to have. We also have 4 copies of Marguerite, 3 drop blocker, but on play you get to also draw a card. So again, really good synergy because you do lose a card with that ability with Buggy. So having her to basically just draw cards to get through that deck as quickly as possible to get to the cards that you want is very crucial. We also have 4 copies of Boa Hancock. This is where the 7 Warlords comes in play. She's a 4 drop, 6,000 blocker, but also has on play, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, then place them in the top or bottom of your deck, any order. Really like this card. Then give up to 1 of your 7 Warlords type leader or character 1 rested Dawn. So you can choose her or you can choose Dracule Mihawk. So again, good ability there. We also have 4 copies of a 5 drop Mohji, cross guild, and also says on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Richie and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order and play up to 1 Richie from your hand. So we have this guy right here. Good synergy with the 5 and the 2s right there. So again, just getting out some blockers, which is really good. So like that card a lot. Definitely need 4 copies of. We also have 4 copies of a 5-drop Alvida, which is a beautiful card. And it says on KO, if one of your leader has the cross guild type, play up to 1 character with 5 or less other than Alvida from your hand. Again, anything from here and all the way up here, all cross guild. Cross guild right there, cross guild right here, cross guild right there. We also have this one, which is not, isn't gonna work with this one. It has to be 5 or less, so unfortunately, but it's also just good to play another blocker with it. So I do wish the Boa Hancock was cross guild, man. That would have been like the icing on the cake with this card. Moving on, we also have 4 copies of a 6-drop Dracule Mihawk, another blocker, and also says on play, draw 2 cards and trash 1 from your hand. So you're going to like this card a lot because it has the blocker, but it also allows you to draw cards. Drawing cards, very critical in any TCG game, but for this deck particularly, definitely good. Next up, we have 4 copies of a 7-drop Crocodile on play. Play up to 1 cross guild type character card or character with a type including the Baroque works with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. Don't care about the last part. Top part is all we care about. Playing any cross guild with 5 or less. Again, you play him, then you play Alvida, you KO the Alvida. Maybe you could play Mohji. Mohji then plays Richie. A lot of good combo pieces right here. I do hope for the next set, cross guild does get some more support because this deck is definitely missing some beefier characters. But for what we have right now, it's still pretty good. We also have 2 copies of an 8-drop Dracule Mihawk on play. Draw 1 card. Any other Dracule Mihawk will definitely work, but this one also has the 7 Warlords of the Sea, which is also searchable with Boa Hancock, so just know that. For counters, we have 4 copies of the Gum Gum Rain. Cost 0, you may trash 1 card from your hand. Your leader then gets up to, or your leader or 1 character gains 3,000 power during this battle. It's a good little counter, cost nothing, we like it. We also have 4 copies of this right here, the 1-drop Cross Guild, and it says, look at 4 cards on the top of your deck, reveal 1 cross guild type card and add it to your hand, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. It also has trigger, activate the main effect. And this is the only time I don't know if I would keep this, but I did think this card was a good, this deck, excuse me. I thought this deck was definitely ripe to have a stage cards. I do think you do need this in the deck. Again, you guys can comment down below if you think the stage cards, because most people that build decks, they don't use stage cards at all. I do hope that One Piece does buff up the abilities of these stage cards a lot or make them cost 0. I think if they cost 0, it would be a lot beneficial to just throw these in the deck. But I did one with Emptee Bluffs Island, cost 1, activate main. You may place 2 cards from your hand at the bottom of your deck in any order and rest the stage. If your leader has cross guild type, draw 2 cards. And the reason why I have this in the deck is because with this deck, you need a very particular set of cards always to counter your opponent. This will allow you to get the cards you want. It sucks that it does cost 1, but in this game, I have realized that you always just have like 1 extra Don just sitting there. So why not play a stage card that definitely has some good synergy with this deck? That's going to do it for the deck itself. This deck, like I said, I mentioned earlier in this video at the beginning, this deck will run you under $20. This deck, at my estimations, at least what I did on TCG Player at the time of this recording, will run you $18.77. Not bad for a deck at all if you wanted a very budget-friendly deck that you can build. I do hope to see more support for this cross-guild type traits. I really do like this deck. I just think it is missing the very big, powerful, like the 9s and 10 drops. There are a couple of cards that you could slide in, but will break the bank. I'll go ahead and show you those cards now. The first card that I have on this list, if you wanted to absolutely break the bank and give this deck some much-needed firepower, is Sanji from Wings of the Captain. This is the secret rare, and it says on play, reveal 1 card from the top of your deck and play up to 1 character with a cost of 9 or less other than Sanji. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck. Again, this is definitely a card that would give the deck some much needed firepower. Definitely maybe reduce the stage and maybe reduce Sengoku and slide in 4 copies of Sanji would definitely give this deck some much needed firepower. Of course, 4 copies at $23 a piece is going to run you almost $100. So for 4 copies, $100, your deck is a $120 deck. So just know that you're going to be breaking the bank, but obviously this would be a card that would be much needed in the deck. Next up, we have Jinbe. I would definitely throw a couple of copies of this one because it says on play, play up to 1, the 7 of the Warlords of the Sea type character with a card of 4 or less other than Jinbe from your hand. If you remember, Boa Hancock fits that mold perfectly, so it would just give you another combo piece with Boa, which would be pretty good. The other thing I would definitely recommend is checking out Perona. If you don't like Sengoku, definitely Perona would just be a good card to just take out Sengoku and put in Perona. 4 copies of her, though, would run you about 30 bucks. So just know that. But her ability is on play, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and place them at the top or bottom of the deck in any order. It's an uncommon, which is crazy to me, but yes, this card would definitely be needed in a deck like that, but it would just definitely be breaking the bank at that point. Then you're looking at about a $48, almost $50 deck just by taking 4 copies of this one and sliding it into that deck. Also too, this is a card that I probably would slide into the deck that I've already pre-built, but wouldn't be breaking the bank. You would go with a $20 budget, but I definitely would highly recommend putting this card in the deck that I just built. I would definitely reduce the 2 copies of Sengoku and put this guy, Martial D Teach. This is from the starter deck from the blue Don Quico Doflamingo deck, which is the brand new one, the starter deck 17. It costs 3,000 power, but it definitely would give your deck some much needed aggro, because its ability says activate main once per turn. You may place 1 card from your hand at the top of your deck to give up to 2 rested Dawn cards to either your leader or a character. If you want to give it to this guy, he becomes a 5,000. If you give it to your leader, he becomes 6,000. So definitely needed there. Right, 6,000? Oh no, excuse me, would give it 7,000. Buggy's a 5,000 power, so it would give Buggy 7,000 power, which definitely would give the deck some much needed aggro. Again, giving anything rested Dawn cards is a very good ability in One Piece, probably the most important ability. Blue doesn't do it a lot, but this card can definitely help you. Remember that Sanji rare can definitely give 2 rested Dawns characters, or 2 rested Dawns to a character. So definitely would be needed in a blue deck if you wanted to give it a little more aggro. And it has the 7 of the Warlords. If you remember, Jinbe can also then search out for Martial D Teach. So I definitely do think, like, if you put Martial D Teach in the deck, Jinbe would definitely be a good combo piece as well to search and also play him pretty much seamlessly for free, or the Boa Hancock. That's going to do it for me. Hope you guys have enjoyed this little deck build. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And again, don't forget to subscribe if you're new. Comment down below if you guys liked the deck, didn't like the deck, but maybe you would do a little bit differently, or comment down below what would you guys like to see next. That's going to do it for me. And as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys next time.